Hello, y'all, and happy Friday. I put a notification that we were going live today. I wanted to talk to y'all about seed catalogs because we have started receiving a whole bunch of seed catalogs. Let me get logged in over here on Instagram. We're going to go live today on Instagram as well as YouTube. Let me position my camera so that we can both try to get everybody in view and that y'all can see me good. For some odd reason, it is a beautiful day outside. I want to make sure that I'm live over on Instagram. I hope I am. Instagram has changed up so much on me. Like my buttons are at the top now, and it takes me a minute to try and do what I need to do. So I'm learning, and hopefully I'll get it. And hopefully, when I get it, I will not. They won't change it up on me for a second, at least for like some months until I can learn where all of my new buttons are. So they're changing up buttons on me. So it confuses me a little bit when I get over on Instagram. They have really changed, but y'all, I have started getting a lot of seed catalogs, and I just want to share with you some tips because sometimes it can get a little overwhelming. And when I say overwhelming, they have some beautiful things in the seed catalogs. When I say overwhelming, I mean, it's just so much you want to try and so much you want to grow. So I want to give you all some tips that I use and that I go by in order to um, just kind of keep me from not buying too much that I can't um, handle. Now, don't get me wrong, I still have some seeds, but it just helps me to kind of come back to the real life of how I need to go about purchasing some of these seeds because it is it's something about the pictures for me, even online when I see the things, the new varieties of some of the emails I've been receiving is new varieties of the 2021 um, seeds and different types. So I get way overwhelmed on um, what I want to grow. Like I've already gotten a list, but again, I want to show you all, or just go over with you some of the things that I think about before I even place an order. Now is a great time. A lot of companies are offering free shipping, which that's one of my favorite because shipping can get a little bit expensive. So I like when they have deals like free shipping. Sometimes I like that better than the 10 or 15% off because free shipping, coming from someone who ships out a lot, shipping is very expensive and it adds up. And it doesn't even have to be a lot. So I want to thank you all for joining me. If this is your first time here, my name is Ayana. And my kids kind of made me start like going online and doing showing pictures, but we just love home and garden. But this year just kind of took a pivot for us just because of everything that's going on. A lot of people were really, hey Shirley, a lot of people were really, I'm on my lunch break now, Shirley. A lot of people really had a um, a hard time this year. They were telling themselves they couldn't grow. Then when they went to try to grow, they got frustrated. So it's our goal to, if you are just getting into gardening or this is your first and second season, we want to share with you some information. We want to share with you some tips, and we want to share with you some garden ideas so you too can grow a beautiful and flourishing and bountiful garden. So I wanted to come on here today. I'm just going to show y'all the catalogs that I've gotten. This is only a few. This is not a lot. I still have a whole lot. And so I was like, it's getting overwhelming because I know when I place orders, it gets kind of crazy for me. But I'm trying to just really scale back some because I still got seeds in there in the house that I have to plant. So if you are new to gardening, after the live, not now, Go ahead, go to Instagram, download our free 5 Tips to a Flourishing Garden ebook so that way you'll know some basic tips. I call this getting back to the basics. This way you'll know what you need to do in order to even get started gardening. And this is kind of like your pre planning phase. So you definitely want to do that. But this is what I wanted to talk to y'all about today. This is just a few of the seed catalogs that we have been getting in the mail, and I have been looking at each and every one. A lot of them have a lot of dog ears on here where I have been tabbing stuff, things that I want to grow, and I got a list and I said, okay, you got to slow down because now it's starting to get ridiculous. And you keep saying you want to grow this stuff, but where are you going to put it? That's my first thing. Where are you really going to put all of this stuff? So this is some tips that I want to tell you when you're starting to grow. And again, y'all, if y'all see me looking two ways, we're over on Instagram and we are over on YouTube as well. So the first thing I want you to do before you even place an order, if this is like your first or second season growing, and that's why I always tell people too, when you're gardening, keep a journal. Keep a journal of everything that goes on in the garden. That way you can go back, write down dates, and just kind of write something that you know that you'll remember. So the first thing that I do as the growing season is going on is I write down what grew exceptionally well for me this year. Like what one or two or three things, what all that you grew, what grew exceptionally well for you. Now y'all will hear me say it again and again and again. Those mini peppers, the tricolored peppers, you better believe if they get the seeds in, because right now they're out of stock. You better believe if they get those seeds in, I'm growing those again next year. I really feel like that was one of the main performers in the garden this year. Like this is the end of November, almost December. We're still getting the mini bell peppers. We just picked a whole bowl full of them, and so that was like one of the star performers for me in the garden. So when you get all of these seed catalogs, milkweed grew well for you in this garden. See, exactly. And see, that's why I say write down in a journal. It doesn't have to be like this. Get a notebook, get a piece of paper, write down everything that grew well for you, because everything does not grow well everywhere, and it all depends on your climate. It all depends on the conditions of your climate, whether you're in a humid climate, a hot, dry. So it depends on that. So that's why I try to write down the things that do very well. So that's the first thing you want to do. Now, the second thing you want to do before you go ordering and trying new things is you want to ask yourself, although it grew well, is this something that I would like to grow again? Is this something that I would want in my garden again next year? So you have to ask yourself that, because and the reason why I say that is each year I try to grow one thing that's new, whether it's a flower, whether it's a vegetable, whether it's an herb, and it may grow well, but if you didn't like it, like it wasn't all of that, then you have to consider, am I going to grow this again? Would I want to grow this again next year? So you have to think about that too. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I grew that I say, well, I don't know if I'll grow that again next year, but it was good growing it. It was good trying it. So you have to think about that before you place your order. The next thing, and I'm talking to myself, y'all, ask me how I know. Next thing you want to do is you want to take an inventory of the seeds that you already have. And you want to see what all you have left, or what all you need, or what all you want to grow. So what I will tell you is I don't think I'll be ordering kale this go round, because we have about 5 to 6 varieties of kale that we're currently growing, and then we have more seeds in the house. So kale is something, although I may see a new variety, although it may be pretty, I have to tell myself, you got enough kale seeds, so maybe buy another type of seed. Go ahead and plant the kale seeds first. So that's why I say go over what you already have. Now, this is for all of you who are growing or you grew something this year. If you're just beginning to start, like if you told yourself, you know what, I'm going to start growing, then you ask yourself, what do I like? What do the things that me and my family like that I could grow and that I could try? And so, if you haven't seen the videos where we did, I think it was last week. If you haven't saw those videos, go ahead and go back. We have them on Instagram and we have them on YouTube. I'm looking at Instagram because something's telling me it's not recording. Something's telling me I'm not live on Instagram. So let me see if I can get re-live on that. I'm telling when I tell y'all they have switched these buttons out, I was not. I was not on live at all. I've been talking for 11 minutes and I was not on live at all. I'm just talking and I'm looking something wasn't right on here and I'm just looking at myself like why haven't you not received any comments or anything like that. So, but I'm going to keep going on I'm going to still keep going on YouTube. So, y'all give me a quick second to just type this in, but I did put up a notification. I know they think I'm like 11 minutes late, but I'm really not. I just didn't press the I don't know. I pressed the button, but it didn't look like it always looks. Okay, so I'm quite sure everybody will start coming in now on Instagram. Okay, so I'll be just a little repetitive, just in case we have some people that are popping in. So we did put up a post because I it's Black Friday, is sales going on all this week, and so I had a piece of paper and I was starting to say what all I wanted to order, and I've been going through. This is just a portion of my seed catalogs. I've been going through my seed catalogs and I've been dog earing a lot of the catalogs, but I had to stop for a second and I had to say, let me go back to the basics of before you even place an order, share the process of what I do. So I'm so sorry, Instagram. I thought I was recording for y'all and I wasn't on record. So we're doing YouTube and we're doing Instagram. But we're basically talking about processes that I use to go ahead and get growing. So process number one, the first thing I started doing was I wrote down what grows exceptionally well, what grew exceptionally well this year, and it was the peppers. The next step I said was, would you grow it again? Is this something that you would grow it again, or is it something that you just wanted to try? And how did you like it? And then my next step is I say, well, what all seeds do you already have? If you have enough kale seeds, you cannot try another kale variety until you've planted what you've already had. I think we have about 5 or 6. We've planted blue kale, lacinato kale, thousand head kale, red scarlet kale. We have about 5 varieties right now that are growing in the garden. And then kale is a seed. If you haven't grown it, it's very easy to grow. Depending on the variety, it doesn't take a long time to grow. It's packed with all kind of nutrients, and we love to put it in our salads. We love to saute it. We love to cook it. So that's something that we have a lot of. So I know this go round. Don't order any more kale. Just don't do it. So um, the next thing I do as I go through the all of the different catalogs, and if you're not on some of the catalog list, sign up for a couple of newsletters. They give you a lot of tips when you're starting out, and then they'll put you on a list and they'll send you out some coupons from time to time. And that's exactly what happened. And then you'll get on their mailing list so that you can start receiving the different catalogs that they have. If you haven't started receiving the catalogs, then you can go on the website and they have a lot of digital catalogs that you can download right then and there and look at in a PDF format. And then that way you'll know what's going on. And this serves the same. This serves the same for if you go to the store. Kia Parks. I've been on. Let me tell y'all real quick some of my favorites. Some of my favorite catalogs. I'm always gonna like Johnny's. They um, Johnny's has to me, and that's why you have to just order a few from a few places. But Johnny's has a great germination rate for me. Like I haven't had any seeds that I've ordered that like it's some places I've ordered some and ordered some seeds from and I'm like I'm not going to order from them again. I don't know what happened, but I will say they have great germination rates. Um Harris seeds, I love them. They have great germination rates as well. Botanical interest, I like them. They have a lot of heirloom. They have a lot of heirloom and organic seeds, great germination rate. I don't have a Renee's Garden, but she's another one that is great. And then Pine Tree, they're another one. So when you go on the different websites, and you may just have to try a little bit to find what you like. Those are just like a few of the ones that always get my business no matter what. I still will try a few places sometimes if they send me something and they have a special going on and the price is good for the seeds. I will still try them and then I'll make a determination then. I still go to the big box stores when they actually, for us, they've started putting out some seeds. I was really surprised. They've started putting out growing things. Normally that comes in the springtime, but they've started putting out things. So sometimes I'll try some of those seeds that they have at the big box stores as well. But as you continue to grow, as you begin to grow, you will start noticing things that you favor more than others. Um, and those places that I just named, those are like my go-to, and I'm on the mailing list. Sometimes they'll send you coupons. Yes, you did. Thanks so much for joining us. You will get a coupon, so you'll build a rapport with certain seed companies. But if you're joining us, thank you so much for just if you're just joining, thanks so much for joining us. Again, remember if you're new to gardening or this is your first or second season, make sure you download our 5 tips to a flourishing garden ebook. It's totally free. It's over on Instagram. And this will get you going. This will give you the basics, the foundation to think about. This is kind of like your pre-planning phase because 2021 is going to be a good year to grow. It's no better time than right now to start growing. And like I tell people, whether you want to start with one or whether you want to start with 10, just start. We did a video series on your mindset. Don't say that you can't grow because you can. It may take a little bit of effort, but it'll start. It's just like riding a bike. You will get it. So change your mindset. Just try something. Always, always, always keep a journal. Keep a journal of everything you do in your garden. So this way you'll know. Um, like I tell people, I cannot tell you how many plants that I've killed. I cannot tell you how many plants that have just died on me. As a matter of fact, one of my lettuce plants, right by all of the other lettuce plants, I happened to look the other day and it was just dying. I don't know if it just didn't like the other hey Phoenix, how are you? I don't know if it just didn't like who they were next to. Like he was like, I don't like being next to you, so I'm just gonna die on you. That's what happened. So I had to pull that up and I popped I popped another one in, but I don't know. Sometimes my plants get a little, I don't know, they get a little sassy sometimes. I've had some they were right. I've done the exact same thing to each and every one of them. And you'll have a couple that say, I don't like it here, and so I'm just gonna die. How about that? That's what they tell me, or that's what I think they tell me. So if you're just joining us, before I'm gonna place an order, a seed order between now and between Monday because I've gotten too many deals. But that just it doesn't mean just because I get a good deal I need to order. There are a couple things that I try to do every single year in my garden, and I always try to find one thing new to plant. But we've gotten a lot of seed catalogs, and I thought I wanted to share with y'all my process because sometimes I can get overwhelmed and sometimes I can overdo it on the orders. But over the last few seasons is some things that I do, and I'll recap real quick. The first thing I do is I write down what grew exceptionally well in my garden this year. What grew good, you write that down. After you write that down, the next thing you'll say is this something I want to grow again? And for y'all that are just joining, the mini bell peppers, if they will put those seeds back in stock, I will definitely get them. The next thing you have to ask yourself is you have to say, well, what seeds do I already have? Take an inventory. If this is your first, second, third season growing, take an inventory of what you already have so that way you're not ordering the same thing over and over again. And then the other thing that you have to pay attention for, y'all, because I had to write this down. So let's talk about this. Say, for instance, there is something new in the catalog that I want to order. And always order something, whether it's an herb, a vegetable, or flower. Just always order something that you know you will eat or your family will eat. And let me just explain what I mean by that. I don't like okra. Not at all. But my daughter loves okra. So I grow okra so that she can eat it, so that we can pickle some, and so that I can give to my mom because she puts it in her vegetables. Um, Sandra Epps, I really want the butterfly, so I want to get seeds for that plant. I am pulling those butterfly pea flowers. We're pulling the seeds off of there. Probably in the next couple of weeks, I am going to do a germination test. I always want to do a germination test because if I sell anything to anybody, I want it to be quality. I want it to be just like the companies, these seed companies that I know and trust. I want my things that come out of my garden to be just like that. So before I sell it, I want to tell you, well, I only had like a 30% germination rate, so I'll add some extra seeds in here, so that you can get a good germination rate. Because the butterfly pea flower, um, I really forgot about it because that's how long it took to germinate. And that's why I want to start early. I think it took between 45 and 60 days for it to germinate. I really had put it outside. I forgot about it. And one day, y'all know we have a very mild spring. It really goes from mild winter to spring to summer, the heat of the summer, spring, maybe about 2 weeks. And when it started getting very, very hot, um, I just saw I saw things pop up, and I that was the one thing I did forget to to label. I forget to label a lot of stuff. I got to do better about labeling things when I plant it. But I figured it out. I was like, what did I put in here? And it was the butterfly pea flower. So I am going to start my germination test probably in the next couple of weeks, but I'll make sure that I tell everybody. So if you're not following us on Instagram, make sure you follow us on Instagram, on YouTube. Like, I'll put out some type of notification that we have our butterfly pea seeds available and ready for purchase. So another thing that I always do, let's go back, is in my journal. I write down everything, not just one thing, but everything that grew well. But when I'm looking through seed catalogs and there's something new that I want to try, a lot of them have some amazing descriptions. And so I go by that too because, for example, it was some plants that I tried. These were flowers this year that I tried. And what made me try them is they were saying, oh, they love humidity, they can tolerate drought. So look for things like that because I'll give you an example of what we grow every year. The cow peas or the black eyed peas, we grow them every year because they're drought tolerant. That is one plant that you can grow and you can just kind of leave it alone. Like, you don't have to continue to babysit it all the time. I got some plants that I have to come out here and I have to talk to, and I have to, you know, rub them a little bit and just say, your family here too, so I need you to grow. But the cow peas, you put those in the ground. They're drought tolerant. They can stand the humidity because it's so humid here. We can get a lot of fungus issues. And that goes to another point with some of the descriptions in the catalog is a lot of them have been bred or tested to where they can withstand things like downy mildew or um, bacterial wilt virus. Like some of them have been bred for certain zones to grow, so that's why I like, before I even order it, I look and read the description, see what's going on, see if it's a good fit for zone 8B, see if that's something that we can grow in this humidity, because a lot of plants will definitely get some type of virus or some type of fungus with this heat and this humidity when it starts heating up during the summer time. So those are the things that I am going to pay attention to. Have you all started thinking about, because now is a great time, have you started thinking about, and put this in the comments, YouTube, give me a thumbs up if you're liking this video, and also comment and let me know, have you all started planning what you're going to plant for next year? Because I'm going to tell y'all something in just a second. Over on Instagram, give me a heart if you're enjoying this video or this live, and enjoying this information, because we want to bring you more of what you enjoy. But if you have not started planning now, because the months are going by, they're going really, really fast. Go ahead and start planning. Go ahead and think about what you want to plant, because by the time spring comes and you look through those catalogs or you look online and the things that you want to plant, they'll probably be sold out. And if you guys remember earlier this year, a lot of things were sold out. A lot of companies were not shipping. They had to get the farmers right first. So this, I take this time right here to go ahead and plan out, to go ahead and think about what I want to grow next season, and to go ahead and order it, because it has been a lot of times where I have went online, I've picked up my seed catalog again, and by February, maybe sometimes January, March, they're sold out. They don't have any more. So you have to start planning now on what you want to do. And that's why I said, if you're just beginning, start with an herb. Herbs are they have so many functions, so many uses to them. Not only for seasoning, a lot of herbs we grow for tea, but we are amping up our herb planting for next year. We're gonna plant a whole bunch more herbs, and then I don't know. We ordered a lot of tomatoes for some odd reason. I don't know why. I love tomatoes. We recently, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, pulled up all of the tomato plants that were left. So a lot of them are ripening inside now, because we had to use that area to plant our onions and to plant our spinach and to plant our lettuce. But think about some things that you want to start to grow, because believe it or not, by us being in zone 8B, normally I get started growing inside around the end of December, 1st of January, because by March, it'll be time for us to start putting some of those cooler weather vegetables out into the garden. And like I tell y'all, you don't have to have a big garden. You can grow in a pot. You can use your imagination, and you can get a container. As long as that container has drainage holes in there, you can grow just about whatever you want to. It doesn't have to be a big space. I have stayed in so many places where we didn't have a yard. We had a little small balcony. Some places we didn't have a balcony, and you just have to grow in what you can, because there's nothing better than growing your own. And y'all know I'll keep saying this, when you grow, you know what you put in it, and you know what was done to it, and you know how far it was. I was just about to ask, when do you start? Because okay, you're in Georgia as well. Yes, we're in southeast Georgia, and I start some of the plants that take like a long time to germinate. I start them about mid-December. As a matter of fact, if you all haven't seen our and let me just say this, I have to start them because I find myself procrastinating a lot. Like, I'll make a list of what to do, and sometimes I start doing something totally different. So a lot of my flowers that I want to grow this year, I'm going to go ahead and start them. And then I start my tomatoes and bell peppers around mid January to February. I go ahead and get those started because a lot of them need about 4 to 8 weeks before I start to plant them out, because I give a week of hardening off. Whatever I plant inside, put an extra week on there because you're going to have to harden it off once you start. Once you're ready to bring it outside, you need to harden that plant off. And the way I tell people is to think about it like this: that plant has been acclimated to your nice temperatures inside. It hasn't had any wind. It doesn't have a change and influx. I mean, it's been like, think about your house. It stays at a certain temperature 24 hours a day. And then you bring it outside. I have started planning too. Yes, you have to start planning now because I I didn't get scared this year, but it got real to me this year when everything started happening. And I said, well, let me just order a few seeds, and everything was sold out. Or either they said, we're not shipping to consumers right now. They're taking care of the farm people. But going back to the hardening off, just think about how your house is set. And then you put them outside, and you know how the highs might be 60 something, but the lows are in the 30s. They're not used to that. And that's a good way for them to tell you, okay, I don't know why you just, it's basically like shoving somebody outside and you don't let them back in. So you have to take like a week. And I always like to look at the temperatures for that week, because if it's going to do a lot of raining, I'll kind of postpone it a little bit. But with hardening off, you have to gradually get them acclimated to the climate, the environment that they're going to be in. Now, what I will do a few days before I start hardening off is I have a stand fan that is in the grow room. Y'all, I've took my middle daughter, hers is the grow room now. I name all my rooms. It's the grow room. So I have a stand fan, and I also have a ceiling fan. The ceiling fan stays on all the time for airflow. But when I'm about to harden off, I'll put that fan right in front of those plants to simulate wind, just in case it's going to be windy, come springtime. So that way they can get used to the wind. So I'll do that to them for a few days, and then we'll start hardening them off. But we can definitely talk as the season gets nearer for us to start planting, because I'm going to be on I'm going to be on here a lot because I want us to start to grow. I seen another recall, y'all. I seen another recall on the lettuce, and um, it's just time. It's time, and that's why I say, don't tell yourself you can't do it. You can do it. You can do anything. You can do whatever you put your mind to. So you can't tell yourself that. You have to at least try, and that's why I say keep a journal, because when you keep that journal and you write down what could have happened, a lot of people that have contact with me, they ask me, what do I think can happen? And y'all know what the first thing I tell them to do? Have you ordered it? When's the last time you ordered it? And they'll be like, okay. And this is what I tell people, especially if you're growing in containers. Stick this hand down in there and go like to your knuckle. If it's wet, then you're pretty good. If it's not, you need to water it. And some plants can deal with drought. That's what we were talking about in our seed catalogs. Sometimes you can look for those plants that they can tolerate that dryness. Now, I'm not saying to just leave them be and don't ever water them, but some plants are more prone to die on you. Like, they need a consistent amount of water, or they will flop over. A lot of plants that I grow, they will tell me that it's time to water. A lot of plants you see, they'll flop over. That means they're dry and they are thirsty, and then they want to drink of water. So let me know, what do y'all plan to grow this year? Again, now is the time to start planning. But if you've been growing for a little bit and you're getting the seed catalogs, if you haven't, go on the website. They have a lot of PDF downloads where you can look on there, or you can just like kind of surf the net. It'll give you a lot of information. And magic users. Yeah, I have to plan. I have to plan it out because I start getting, it was one year, I don't know what came over me, where I ordered all those seeds, and when they started coming, I was like, what were you it was almost like you probably thought I was going to start a farm or something. That's how many seeds that I had ordered. The good thing is a lot of seeds, although they may say the seeds are good for 1 year. You know how you see the seeds in the store and they try to hurry up and sell them, and they'll say use by, we'll say 12/21. Well, that goes with the germination. I have planted seeds the following year from that same pack. They still germinate, but they may not germinate as much. So let me just give you an example, because I always do like germination rates. That's why I want to do that for the butterfly pea seed. So say for instance, I bought a packet of seeds, and they're kale, and I had my little 12 tray. And the first year when I planted them, and it said sell by 12/20, 10 of them may have germinated. So that means, no, well, let's say, yeah, 10 out of the 12 may have germinated. So I would say that's probably like a 90% germination rate. But then I keep that seed packet and I plant them again next year, and maybe only 8 of them may germinate. So that's really what that means. Now, it is some seeds like spinach that they advise you to plant like within that year. But there have been some spinach varieties that I have had the following year, and they germinated just fine. They may not have germinated as much as the first year, but they still germinated. So a lot of times I will still get those seeds, and I will still plant them, and they will still germinate. It just may not, as many may not germinate as the first year. So that's basically what that means. But I have to plan, y'all. I have got to plan. And because I know, I was telling somebody on Instagram, it's really hard for me because, and I'll just show you an example, y'all. When you go looking at these pictures, I don't know about y'all, but when you go looking at all these beautiful pictures and things like that, and I just turned to whatever page, you're thinking, oh, that looks good. I want to plant that. I want to plant that. Oh, yeah, I want to try that. And so the thing is just try it. Let me tell you, the red lettuce is so pretty. I can't wait to, yes, 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 yes. Um, the red lettuce is so pretty, and we have some growing right now. The cooler it gets, I think our, did y'all know I seen our temperatures next week? I think the low is supposed to be 36 and the high is supposed to be 60. So I probably won't come out those days. But we have some lettuce growing right now. And the red lettuce, what I love about it is the colder it gets, the more red it gets. It's so pretty. It's very pretty. But yeah, like you have to tell yourself as you are looking through here, you got to slow down, like, and you have to plan to be like, where am I going to put this at? And I'm not only am I talking to y'all, I'm talking to me too, because um i've 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 done a little bit better this year with succession planting. The squirrels attack your let me tell you, it's the only reason why the squirrels do not bother my garden is because we have the acorn tree back there. We had one cut down, and then but they don't too much bother. They dig holes, you could tell they dig holes in the ground, but they don't too much bother any of our lettuce. But you may want to try to put some type of netting on there, because every year when the blackberries and the strawberries get ripe for me, I have to put bird netting on there, because the birds are slick. Let me tell you, especially with the blackberries, those birds have plenty of sense, and you can just see them. Like, I've sat there and just watched them, and they get those berries off and they go on about their business, and then they tell their friends, y'all, hey, I found the jackpot, so you better go get it before she comes out. So a lot of times we have to put bird netting, so you may want to try that. You may want to try the bird netting, so try to do that, and then hopefully that'll help, because there are some animals. We have a stray cat right now that digs holes. up under the fence saying, I don't know what it is about this space. He doesn't really bother the garden. He may be after the moles. We do have a bad mole problem. And that's what I do have to watch with our garden, because the moles can eat the roots underneath of your plants. So you may walk out. I may walk out one day. When and I'm talking about the raised beds. I may walk out one day and one of the plants just look like it's on its last leg. That's another thing you have to consider is the moles. The moles do eat the roots of the plant, so we do have a mole problem. I haven't been quite able to figure it out of what to put because I don't want to put any chemicals. They do have things for mold. I have tried the solar mold, some type of solar mold that sends a charge or something like that. The only thing about it is if it's not sunny that day, I don't think that it sends out like that pulse or whatever it's supposed to be. Um, so that's the only thing. A lot of times when my plant looks like it's on its last leg, the moles have. You could see the tunnels that they make in the raised beds. But so I'm not telling y'all to go crazy online and buy seeds. I'm just saying to think about what you're going to plant. Go ahead and write some things down. You don't want to wait until the last minute. Now is a great time because a lot of them are stocking up on the seeds. They got new seed varieties for 2021. So before I get off, I just want to go over one more time for those who just joined us. Some things to look for before you order the seeds from the different seed catalogs is you want to write down if you're growing. Now again, if you said you're going to start this year or next year, just think about some things that you want to grow that you and your family likes. But if you have grown this season, write down what grew exceptionally well for you and your climate that did very good. And when you write that down, ask yourself, is this something that I would want to grow again in my garden? Like, did you like it so much that you are willing to grow it again in your garden? And I'll say this again, the tricolor peppers, as soon as I get my hands on them, they will get ordered. Um, and I think I'm going to bump it up next year because those little peppers were some of the sweetest peppers that I've tasted. They get ripe right there on the vine. I don't have to pull them off before they're ripe. I pull them off at the peak ripeness. And then some other things you want to do after you ask yourself, is this something that I want to grow again? Because although it may have did very well in your garden, you may not want to try it again. You may want to do something else. And it also depends on the spacing issue that you have too. So you have to ask yourself that. Also, if you have some seeds, ask yourself, go take an inventory of the seeds that you already have because you want to get those planted as well too. So ask yourself, what all seeds do I have? Make a list. Y'all, I'm a list person. I'm good about writing. I got so many notebooks, it's ridiculous. But make a list of what you already have. And then, if you do want to order some seeds out of the catalog, make sure you pay attention to the description that they give, because they'll tell you this is drought tolerant, or it is, if it's a hybrid, the mosaic virus, like it's been treated to where that doesn't happen as often, I would say. I mean, it could still happen, but a lot of them are bred to like not get those different viruses and the different diseases that some heirlooms plants can be susceptible to, because that's why they started doing a lot of breeding, is because certain heirloom plants, they're susceptible to certain diseases, so they kind of breed them to where they don't, get the different viruses and diseases. And don't get me wrong, y'all, I grow heirloom, I grow open pollinated, and I also grow some hybrids. It just depends, because there are some heirlooms that really have a tough time here with this humidity. Your 2020 seed review for zone. That is a great idea. You know what? I will definitely do a video on that. One of our YouTubers here, because we're on YouTube and Instagram, but that's a good idea to make a video of some of the seeds that we grew in the garden, because I have had to pull some things up before they grow. And that's one thing I hate to do. Like, I have to make a decision if it's not doing as well. If a plant is not doing as well as I think it is, and it looks like it's just susceptible, sometimes I'll just have to pull it. And that's why I write down in my journal, why did I pull it? What was going on? What was going around? What was going on with the plants around it? Did it affect the other plants? Like, it's a whole bunch of things that can go into it. And so that's why a lot of these different seed catalogs will tell you. I'm trying to look at one so that I could read it to y'all, that'll tell you the different type of diseases that it has been bred to kind of like not get. But definitely read in the catalog, read what especially for us, I like to grow things that are drought tolerant, because when it gets hot here, it gets hot. If y'all stay in Georgia and you stay in the southeast, you know what I'm talking about when it gets really hot. So you'll hear me complain about it's really hot. And now with the temperatures going down in the 30s, you'll hear me complain about I'm not walking outside because it's really cold. I don't know what kind of temperatures I want. I think I like that mid, like 70s, maybe like 75, 78. I think that is a good, those are good temps for me. Maybe low 50s. Um, yeah, I don't like it too hot, and I don't like it too cold. So I guess I'm just mid range. So again, I'm gonna go back in, but I hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you have a great weekend. We have some rain that is due to us starting in the middle of the night over into Sunday. So I don't know how much I'll be able to get done in the garden. I wanted to do my November garden tour. Texas is hot. Yes, Texas, I can imagine it's hot. As a matter of fact, yesterday I didn't get to see if we made a record, but they were talking about on the news for here that if it got up to 83 yesterday, that was going to be a record temp set since 85. Now I know inside on my temperature that I always look at every day, it said 83, but I don't know if that's what they tracked it at. I'll have to look on the news to see. But yeah, yesterday it was 83 degrees here, and so next week is going to be low in the 60s. No, low in the 30, 36, I think, and then high in the 60s. I really don't get concerned with some of my plants until we start going like below freezing. And a few plants, like some of my citrus plants that are in pots, I will take in and I'll put in the garage as much as I can. But we also have frost blankets for some of those um, ones that I just don't feel like moving. Oh, wow, Sandra, bless your heart. We are expecting snow, 10 inches total. I know I wouldn't be leaving the house then. Whoa, I remember those days overseas where it used to be snow, and I'm not the best driver in snow, and it's exceptionally cold. But I think it was 2018 where we got snow, and it was like a little dusting of snow, but they said that was the first snow in 25 years for this area here. And it's very pretty when it falls, but when you have to get out in it, to me, I don't, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. Um, but yeah, the temperatures, I'm hoping I'll be able to film that November garden tour. I try to put a garden tour out each month on YouTube, because not only does it serves it kind of helps me just seeing the transition through the garden over the years, but I also like to um, put it out to y'all as well, because you can see the growth that we've done, like since I first started filming these videos. I'm quite sure the previous owners, they probably would not believe what this has became since we first moved here, because when we moved to this area, they had a pool here. It was a really nice pool. It was an above ground pool. I think it went to about maybe 5 feet, but it cost so much. Like, we used to buy so much shock, the shock you put in, and then we had to get the pool guy out here. You have to go test the water. You have to put in all that stuff, and it was for the amount of money that we spent. putting chemicals in that pool so that when guests came over, they can get in to swim. And the amount of money that we spent getting the pool got to come out here. A lot of times, my husband didn't put the cover on that year, so we would have to pump all the water out. We have to go rent a pump from Home Depot and then fill the pool back up. And it was costly for the amount of times we actually went into the pool. So I think the previous owners will really be shocked because the new garden is where the pool used to be, and I love it. I'd rather pick fresh vegetables and fruits than to, get in there and burn my eyes with chlorine, with chlorine. So, um, I'm going to try my best. If it doesn't rain, or if it rains in between, um, I will try to get out here and do a garden tour. A lot has not happened. We've been doing a lot of garden cleanup. I put a couple of videos up where we took some plants up and just put some little annuals in that we got on clearance. And that one that I showed you that was $5 or less, I remember saying on the video, in about 2 weeks we'll see blooms. Where I'm looking at blooms for the Johnny Jump Ups right now. I think it was a 6 or 8 pack of Johnny Jump Ups for 67 cents. That was phenomenal. And we get to see just some nice colors. So we put those two videos up. I am about to go ahead. Hopefully, I wanted to do it this weekend and put my garlic in the ground. Um, it's so hot here. Garlic needs they need that cold phase. So the way we do our garlic is we put it in the refrigerator, like in the crisper drawer, for about 4 to 8 weeks. I think it's been there probably going on 6 to 8 weeks now, just so it could simulate that cold phase because it just doesn't get cold enough here. So we're going to try to get those planted this weekend, I hope. I really hope, if it doesn't rain. So, yes, let me tell Germany, I love it because I know I say I don't like cold, I don't like heat, but with Germany, you really experience all 4 seasons. Every last season you're going to experience. And that's what I did like about that. I really did like that you had all 4 seasons. Here it's super hot, a mild winter, a little bit of fall, and then it just spring. I really feel like spring is just skipped altogether here. So yeah, so y'all go ahead, figure out what you're going to order or figure out what you're going to plant for next season. If you have the space and if you have the light, in December, January, that's when I go ahead and start a lot of things inside. So you can start that if you have the right amount of space and the light, and then go ahead and get those seeds orders. Like I said, for me, I prefer free shipping because shipping can get expensive. But do it before the varieties that you want to grow get sold out. It's nothing wrong with the varieties that they sell at the big box stores. What we do, you just don't have that variety. You just don't have, they just sell the basic things for whatever area you're in. Do you just plant cloves of garlic? I take the individual cloves, yes. So we got like 4 big bulbs or heads of garlic. So we just take the individual cloves and put them in the ground. And I'll do a video on that too. I take like a little dibbler and make my holes and just pop them in, and take just a little each individual clove, and those will make a whole big bulb again. Last year we got some pretty good bulbs. That's the reason why I started doing that cold period in the refrigerator. They'll still grow here, but the size of the bulbs won't be that big. So that's why. Now if you're somewhere up north, you probably should have had yours in like October, November, because it's probably cold. Y'all get enough cold to put them in the ground now and let them overwinter. It's just that, like yesterday, it was 83 degrees, and they need that cold period in order to be able to make those nice big bulbs. And the variety, we ordered a couple varieties that were for southern climates, and we did a video over on YouTube with the different varieties, but I remember getting that were two that were bred for southern climates. You're in Atlanta. Okay, most of my family is in Atlanta, and I keep telling myself that we're going to get back that way so we can be a little bit closer. And so y'all are a little bit cooler than we are, because I was talking to my dad. He stays in Peachtree City, and he was saying that it was nice, but I know that y'all are about maybe 5 to 7 degrees different from us here in the coastal area. We're more by Savannah. So yeah. So yeah, y'all get those ordered. Get everything ordered. Decide what you are going to plant. Decide what you're going to plant. And just grow. Just grow something. Just try it. Just grow it. You can reach out to me. Email. You can reach out to me on Instagram. Reach out to me on YouTube if you have any questions, because I am here to answer your questions, because I just want us to grow, and I just want us to grow together and just have a beautiful flourishing garden. I'm telling y'all, once you start growing, you will not want to go back. You will not want to go, like, when things are out of season at the grocery store, you will not want to go back. You won't. Like, I'm so glad that from now until next spring, I will not have to buy any lettuce, any kale, um, mustards. We got enough mustards. We're gonna pull those and pop some turnips and collards in. I had to think about that, because we have 1,000 head kale that I'm growing too. But yeah, you would just, it's just so, it just brings you so much accomplishment, especially when you're able to go out to the garden and just, you don't have to get in your car, you don't have to go in the grocery store. You can go out and harvest what you want to eat, and you know how you grew it, you know what was put on it. You didn't have to travel 1,000 miles. It wasn't picked before it was right. You did all of that, and it's just such a sense of accomplishment. Like this morning, and I'll probably do a reel later on Instagram. I went out and harvested some roselle, because we grow roselle, we dry it, and we use it for tea. I keep saying I'm going to make a jam out of it, but I love using it in tea. And so it's just such a feeling of gratitude and accomplishment when you grow your own, especially when you know what you put on it. Seriously. Um, that's a lot, because I was talking to someone the other day, like with the collard greens at the store. They're big, they're beautiful, they're nice, but a lot of them have been, I remember back in the day picking collard greens, for my mom and grandmom to cook, and you used to see little holes in there. Not a lot of but now you don't hardly see any holes. And I was telling them, because they're probably putting so many chemicals on there, and you just don't know. That's why you don't see any holes. And they look. I'm okay with eating like my mustard greens, and they might have a couple of little holes in there. That's fine. I knew how I grew it, and so that's just what I want to teach, and I want to share with you all, that you can grow whatever it is you want to. You put your mind to it, you change your mindset, and you tell yourself, this is what I'm going to do. Always keep a journal, so you can go back, and then once you got it, you can help others, or you can encourage others to do the same. And that's what this is all about. We're just growing everything together, and just doing it the right way. I love to grow organically, because that way I know exactly what was done to it. So I'm going to get back in here. I'll probably pop in, if it's not raining. I'll probably pop in again this weekend, just to see what you all are doing, see what you have going on, see what you've been up to. But again, if y'all have any questions, just reach out to me. I will be happy to answer any questions. If I don't know, I'll find it out for you. So y'all have a good weekend. And remember, if you have not downloaded the 5 tips to a flourishing garden, it's free. Go to my Instagram bio, click on the link, and go ahead and read over that, so that you can start planning now and planning what you want. And so we will definitely talk again soon, y'all. But just go ahead, figure out what you want to grow, and just start making plans to make that happen. So y'all have a good weekend, and we'll talk again soon. Bye, y'all.